I can't say this. I'm glad I went to prison, and I'm glad all this, I guess, controversy now surrounds my name. And I'm glad that I have shown people, quite frankly, that Andrew and I were under attack. Well, you don't sell anything to anyone. I think that you have to have something you believe in. And we walked in and put it on the debit card, back when I had banks.
Yeah. And how intimate was that friendship?
As intimate as things get. Between men and women.
I don't want this moment to end, by the way.
Fair.
I just want to sit here looking at you for another 20 years.
Here's what I will say. No rules were broken. I will actually say that. Legally, no rules were broken on anyone's side.
You just witnessed fragments of a man operating from a different psychological architecture. A man whose charisma seems effortless, whose frame seems unbreakable. Most will watch this and see only confidence. They will see wealth, bravado, and entertaining stories. They will remain on the surface, entertained but unchanged. You will not. You are about to learn the code behind the charisma, the hidden engine that powers his reality. Because what you mistake for personality is in fact a weaponized system of communication, belief, and atmospheric control. You are about to witness a masterclass in frame control and the art of reframing trauma into power. Do not listen to the story. Listen to how the story is used to dominate the energetic reality of the room. Observe.
Tristan, what's been the biggest betrayal in your life?
I've always, whether it's from the starting point with the relationship I have with Andrew, I've always been very careful about who I select to be friends with. As you know, even now, I run my own private network and I only select new friends from there. So people are vetted before I even come face to face with them. I don't think I've ever been betrayed in a monstrous way that's harmed me. Well, actually, now you say that, I can talk a little bit about this girl I'm suing in the United States. In September, she's on trial in a civil court because she was the person who I believe was sent to make some kind of allegation against us to open the door for the police. So I could talk about her a little bit because that's the accusation that was made against me that caused me a lot of trouble. It caused me a lot of problems. And the thing is with her is people often ask me about this girl. And I don't know if she was sent to do this. I think she was because her accusation was so stupid.
What did she accuse you of?
So she said she was locked in my house. This is what started the entire legal saga.
Right.
She said she was locked in my house, but CCTV showed she was at a birthday party in my house that I wasn't at, and she left afterwards. So it was such a bad job of accusing me of anything. That's why I think she was told to do it. And I think she was told to do it because I'd met her and had been hanging out with her, and she was visible on my Instagram in my stories and tagged in some stories in Miami. I'd actually met her twice before that. So her coming along and making that accusation, this is the only person who's ever accused me of anything, by the way. When they talk about, oh, there's other victims, all these women have said, I'm not a victim of anything, leave me alone. That's the only person who's ever actually accused me of anything. And I feel betrayed by it because when people ask me about this person, my honest answer is that I don't have a single unpleasant memory of her. I don't have a single unpleasant memory hanging out with her, talking to her. We used to WhatsApp, suggest which books to read. I mean, it was quite a setup if someone did, in fact, tell her to do this. But I haven't got a single bad word to say about her because I never saw her ever again. Everything was fine. Then the police came to my house and questioned me for the first time. I've never spoken to her after that day. So I guess you could consider that a betrayal. I look at the way she even came to Romania. She's like, I really want to come and see you. I wasn't suspicious. I actually said, here's my debit card, book a flight. She flew business class, booked the flight herself to come to Romania. I guess that's the most damaging betrayal. But as with everything in my life that happens, I'm glad I went to prison, and I'm glad all this, I guess, controversy now surrounds my name. And I'm glad that I have shown people, quite frankly, that Andrew and I were under attack, because people can't explain why every new place I go, they open a new criminal investigation.
What you just saw was not a man recounting a betrayal. You witnessed a ritual of psychic alchemy, a live demonstration of a core seduction noir principle. A sovereign does not experience trauma. He consumes it and metabolizes it into fuel. The interviewer, Rob Moore, attempts to open an emotional wound. He asks for a story of victimhood. This is a standard emotional probe. The average man would respond with pain, with anger, with a story that positions him as the one who was wronged. He would leak his power. Tristan does the opposite. He begins with a classic frame defense. He denies the premise. I don't think I've ever been betrayed in a monstrous way. This is his initial shield. He is communicating, your frame of betrayal and victimhood does not apply to my reality. But then he does something masterful. He pivots.
Well, actually, now you say that, I can talk a little bit about this girl I'm suing.
That pause, that is the moment of sovereign choice. He is no longer responding to a question. He is now choosing to tell a story. He has seized narrative control. He will now use the interviewer's weapon to build his own throne. He proceeds to reframe the entire event. This is not a story about a woman who hurt him. It is a story about a foolish operative sent by the Matrix, a larger, more significant enemy, whose incompetent attack he is now gleefully and systematically crushing through the legal system. He strips the woman of all emotional power. She is not a heartbreaker. She is a pawn in a larger game, a game he is winning. This is a direct application of what we, in the deeper chambers of seduction noir, call archetypal reframing. He elevates a personal slight into a mythic battle, positioning himself as the hero protagonist warring against a formless, powerful system. And the climax of this ritual, the final brutal punchline?
So I'm grateful to that person for making this stupid accusation, and I look forward to financially bankrupting her family forever in September.
The casual mention of financially bankrupting her family forever. This is not just dark humor. This is a dominant signal of the highest order. It communicates several layers of gnosis simultaneously. One, that he operates on a plane where financial annihilation is a casual tool of justice. Two, that attacks on him will be met with disproportionate, overwhelming force. And three, it shatters the emotional frame of the conversation, forcing the interviewer into a state of nervous laughter, a submissive response. This is why this style is so arousing to the deep, primal female psyche. It is not about cruelty. It is about absolute competence. It signals that he is a protector of the highest caliber. His frame is a fortress, and any threat will not just be repelled, it will be erased from existence. He demonstrates, without saying it, my reality is more powerful than any attack you can launch against it. He took a question designed to reveal weakness and used it to broadcast unshakable, terrifying strength. That is not charisma. That is power. Now, observe the second ritual. The interviewer, sensing Tristan's resilience, attempts a more complex probe, a pattern interrupt designed to find a crack in the armor.
What is your most fond prison experience?
I can't say this.
You can.
Let's just say I made a very good friend in prison, a very good female friend. And that's all I will say on your podcast.
And I would not be doing my job if I asked you to explain in a bit more detail. And you probably wouldn't respect me as a podcaster if I didn't.
I wouldn't. Well, women like me.
Yeah.
And women work at prisons.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. I made a very, very close friend.
And how intimate was that friendship?
As intimate as things get. Between men and women.
I don't want this moment to end, by the way.
Fair.
I just want to sit here looking at you for another 20 years.
Here's what I will say. No rules were broken. I will actually say that. Legally, no rules were broken on anyone's side. I will say that, because that's important. But yeah, I made a very dear friend in prison. I will give more details on this in the months and years to come.
Maybe you'll invite me back to...
Absolutely. Sure.
I just want to bottle this little moment.
Well, it's an exclusive. I've never talked about that on podcasts. But friendship isn't against any rules.
No. Intimate friendships aren't, are they?
I mean, no, they're not. Fully consenting adults can do whatever they like within the confines of various rules of institutions. Next question.
I'll just let you sip your coffee.
I'm enjoying this coffee. I've been waiting to allude to this for years.
The question itself is brilliant. What is your most fond prison experience? It forces a paradoxical response. How can one have a fond memory of a place designed to crush the human spirit? Tristan's response is pure theater, pure gnosis in motion.
I can't say this.
First, the creation of a seductive void. As we teach in the initiation chamber, what is withheld is always more potent than what is given. By saying, "I can't say this," he transforms a simple anecdote into a forbidden secret. He instantly creates a powerful loop of curiosity in the minds of the interviewer and the audience. The human brain abhors a vacuum. It will desperately seek to fill the void he has just created. He then allows the interviewer to pull the story out of him. This is a classic frame reversal. He is not pushing his story onto the audience. The audience is now begging him for it. He has made them the needy ones. The reveal is a masterpiece of linguistic minimalism. I made a very good friend in prison, a very good female friend. The pause, the emphasis, it's a spark in a room full of gunpowder. He doesn't need to describe the act. The implication is 1,000 times more powerful. He is communicating a core truth about his own value. My sexual and social market value is so high, so intrinsic to my being, that it transcends even the walls of a maximum security prison. The system cannot contain my influence. This is the ultimate demonstration of pre-selection and what we call atmospheric sovereignty. His value is not derived from his cars, his money, or his freedom. It is an atmospheric field that he projects, which reorganizes reality around him, regardless of the physical container. And the final seal on this gnosis.
No rules were broken. I will actually say that. Legally, no rules were broken on anyone's side.
The final word, legally, delivered with a sovereign smirk, is the checkmate. It signals mastery over the system's rules, intelligence, and a playful disregard for convention. It leaves the listener's imagination to run wild, crafting a story far more potent than any he could have told. This is the art of saying everything by saying almost nothing. It is a core tenet of seduction noir, that true power lies not in explanation, but in the resonant echo of implication. He didn't tell a story about sex in prison. He told the story about his unshakable atmospheric value as a man, and that is infinitely more seductive. Now that you understand how he alchemizes trauma and forges status in a vacuum, let us deconstruct the next layer, his relationship with wealth and belief. Most men are owned by their money and their products. The sovereign is owned by nothing. He uses wealth and belief as mere expressions of his pre-existing internal state. Pay close attention. This is where the gnosis deepens.
And when was the first time in your life you actually felt you rich? Like, what did you buy or where were you when you were like, yeah, and this is proper rich?
Actually, you rich? I remember feeling rich because I could do certain things, buy certain things, drive a certain car. There's a clip that went viral, and I'll reference it, where my brother and my cousin were in London, and we went for the most expensive coffee in London, that cat poo coffee. Totally overrated, rubbish, $50 a cup. And we're drinking this expensive coffee, and we're opposite a Rolls-Royce garage. And yeah, it must have been 5 years ago now. And we walked past, and I was like, I like that blue Rolls-Royce, looks nice. And he was like, I don't really like Rolls-Royces. And I was like, yeah, but I kind of like it. And we walked in and just put it on the debit card, back when I had banks.
Yeah.
And drove it away the next day. And I was like, that's insane. That cost me 500 and something thousand pounds. I don't even remember the price. I just knew that whatever that car costs, I can just get it with money that's in my bank, let alone the wealth I have elsewhere. That's when I first realized I was actually rich. Because a Rolls-Royce, if you are a 50-year-old man and you have your house paid off and you drive a secondhand Rolls-Royce Wraith, people in your neighborhood, especially where I'm from, will say that's a successful guy. That's a rich guy. So for me at 31 years of age to just be, oh yeah, I want one. I already had 40 other cars by then and just buy one for no reason. The police held it for 2.5 years. It's probably worth 200 grand now. Like
the Rolls-Royce, yeah.
But I don't really care.
Yeah.
But that was the first time that I realized that I had made it, I guess. Because millionaire used to be a big thing. I'm like, that's only 2 of these cars. Millionaire net worth. That's the first time I felt very rich.
Do you not value things less now you can just buy cars without even thinking about it?
No, it's good because my superpower is I never really valued money that much. I was the guy who'd get paid £250 on a Thursday. And on Friday, if my friends were broke, I'd spend it all on the weekend. Oh, I'll buy the drinks. And then once my money was gone, it was like, okay, let me try and find a way to stay alive now. But I never really cared. I was never that guy. I've always been relatively financially irresponsible, which is a superpower if you're smart enough to wake up every morning thinking, I need to earn more money. And my net worth only blew up once the amount of money I had coming in was greater than my spending habits of buying everything I like. But I still buy everything I like kind of now. I'm still like, I mean, I had a meeting the other day and somebody told me that they're opening Ralph Lauren residences here in Dubai and they're going to start building it. I'm like, ooh, I want one of those. Like, do I really need to spend $15 million on another apartment? I have places to live, but I just want it. So I might buy one. So it's, it's tricky. I think my financial irresponsibility has always numbed me to that because I've always seen money as just something that isn't that valuable. I'd rather have a good time with my friends than have money in my wallet. I'd rather live my life, and it's the same now.
So, I mean, they say money exaggerates your traits. So you're just doing the same thing when you were broke, but now you're fucking rich.
Basically, yeah. Basically, yeah. I was doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
If I wanted something.
This is not a story about buying a car. This is a parable about the nature of true freedom. The ritual begins with a frame-setting dismissal. By calling the expensive cat poo coffee overrated rubbish, he immediately signals that he is immune to external validation and hype. He is a judge of intrinsic value, not a follower of trends. His reality is not influenced by price tags or marketing. Then comes the core of the transmission, the purchase itself. Note the language. It is casual, spontaneous, almost an afterthought. I like that blue Rolls-Royce, looks nice. There is no tension, no calculation, no financial anxiety. The true power move, the sovereign declaration, is the revelation that he used a debit card.
And we walked in and put it on the debit card, back when I had banks.
Yeah.
This is not a detail. It is the entire spell. A credit card implies debt, a system of approval. A debit card implies one thing: absolute liquidity. It signals a reality so abundant that £500,000 can be moved with the same ease as buying a pack of gum. It is a gesture of such profound financial dominance that it borders on the absurd. This communicates an internal state of what we call symbolic hypercompetence. It is the demonstrated ability to manifest desire into reality, instantly and without friction. This taps directly into the primal feminine desire for a man who can not only survive, but shape the world to his will, providing a bubble of reality where scarcity does not exist. His casual follow-up is another layer of alchemical genius. He reframes his current deplatforming not as a weakness, but as a badge of honor. He is communicating, I operate at a level so disruptive that the conventional systems cannot even contain me. He turns a logistical problem into a mark of sovereign outlaw status. Finally, he redefines the very concept of being rich. He contrasts his reality at 31, spontaneous, absolute freedom, with the conventional dream of a 50-year-old man finally affording a second-hand model. This is archetypal anchoring. He is anchoring his identity to the archetype of the unfettered king, while anchoring the normal man to the archetype of the diligent but limited steward. He is not rich because he has money. He has money because his internal architecture is one of pure, unhesitating abundance. Wealth is simply the residue of his state of being. Now for the final and most crucial piece of the architecture. The interviewer asks him how to sell. Tristan once again refuses the frame of the question and instead delivers a sermon on the nature of value itself.
Well, you don't sell anything to anyone. I think that you have to have something you believe in or something that is credible. Who was the British businessman 30 years ago went completely bust because he said at a business conference that he sells crap to people?
My friend Gerald Ratner.
Yeah. So God bless him, but he knew he was selling crap, and it didn't last forever because he used those words, I believe. You sell complete shite, I think was his exact words. And, people will buy complete shite, but it all depends on how seriously you want your brand to be taken. I could, saying no names, sell a poisonous, sugary drink and walk around with a can of it everywhere I go. But I don't want to do that. I want to sell things that I believe in. So it's very easy for me because I only sell things I believe in. Even with the new tequila brand I just launched, the team I'm working with, I made them fly to Mexico and back 4 times to my house in Romania where I was arrested. And I was like, nope, not happy with this, back to Mexico. I won't sell anything that I don't believe in. So I am a good salesman. I can do the whole sell me this coffee, sell me this pen, sell me this. I can do that. But this coffee is actually, to be fair, pretty good. Do you want to buy some? I'm joking. But I could do that nonsense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think you can sell anything to anyone. And there are different types of sales, and different people are good at different things. This sounds like such a cop-out. You know, some people are very good hard closers. Some people make fantastic car salesmen. Yeah, it has to be something you like and that you've got a vested interest in people using and enjoying. I think that's the cornerstone of any successful sales career.
But even if you have something that...
His opening move is a classic pattern interrupt. Well, you don't sell anything to anyone. He immediately invalidates the entire premise of manipulative sales, seizing the moral and intellectual high ground. He then does something critical. He establishes his ethical frame by referencing Gerald Ratner.
Who was the British businessman 30 years ago when completely bust because he said at a business conference that he sells crap to people?
My friend Gerald Ratner.
Yeah?
By citing a famous case of a businessman who failed because he lacked belief in his own product, Tristan positions himself as the opposite. He is not a merchant of shite. He is a purveyor of conviction. This builds immense trust and frames him as an honorable operator. Then he delivers the core gnosis, the central pillar of his entire philosophy. You're selling yourself. You're selling your lifestyle. You're selling your credibility. This is the essence of sovereign branding. The product, be it tequila, a program, or an idea, is irrelevant. It is merely the vessel. The true product is the man, his code, his lived experience, his reality. People do not buy the what, they buy the who. This is why his communication is so potent. He is not trying to convince you of anything. He is simply radiating an authentic, deeply held belief system forged in the crucible of real-world experience, from door-to-door sales to international business empires. This authenticity is the ultimate arousal trigger. It signals a man who is whole, congruent, and lives by an internal compass. He is not seeking validation by making a sale. The sale is a byproduct of his validated self. He embodies masculine purpose. A woman who aligns with him is not just getting a partner. She is gaining access to a superior reality framework, a world built on integrity and unshakable belief. He does not need to learn sales tricks. He has become a man whose life is so compelling that others will pay simply to be in its orbit. Now, you have seen the architecture. You have witnessed how trauma is transmuted into fuel, how status is projected into the void, how wealth becomes a mere atmospheric effect, and how belief becomes the only product worth selling. The profane mind looks at this and says, I must copy Tristan Tate. This is the path of the mimic, the ghost, the man who wears another's skin and wonders why it does not fit. The initiate of seduction noir asks a different question. How do I forge my own sovereign architecture? I will now give you the keys. This is not advice. This is a direct transmission of the Gnostic code that underpins the power you just witnessed. This is how you begin to speak from a place of gravitational truth. The 5 Commandments of Sovereign Communication. Forging your irresistible frame. This is the Gnosis. Internalize these 5 principles, and your very presence will begin to re-architect reality around you. First commandment, you shall become an unbreakable frame. Tristan Tate does not have a strong frame. He is the frame. His worldview is not a set of opinions. It is the operating system through which he processes all incoming data. Your actionable gnosis. Stop trying to win arguments. Stop trying to convince her. Instead, before any interaction, define your reality. What is your unshakable truth about this situation, about your value, about her? Hold that truth internally, silently. When she speaks, do not react to her words. Absorb them and let them dissolve against the inner wall of your reality. Your silence, your calm, your refusal to be moved from your center, that is the most powerful argument you can ever make. Your reality must become more compelling to her nervous system than her own. Second commandment, you shall radiate abundance, not announce it. Tate's power in the Rolls-Royce story was not the purchase, it was the casualness of the purchase. Abundance is not what you have, it is your emotional relationship to what you have. Your actionable gnosis. Practice the art of symbolic dismissal. When someone is impressed by a superficial aspect of your life, your job, your watch, a story of a recent success, do not lean into their validation. Acknowledge it with a slight smile and immediately pivot the conversation to something more interesting, something of genuine passion. Communicate non-verbally. That which impresses you is a trivial byproduct of my true mission. This projects a reality where you have so much value that any single aspect of it is barely worth mentioning. This lack of neediness for approval is the true scent of abundance. Third commandment, you shall speak from the library of scars. Tate's words have weight because they are forged in the fire of extreme, lived experience. Theory is smoke, experience is stone. Your actionable gnosis. Stop quoting others. Stop regurgitating concepts you haven't lived. Instead, take your own experiences, your failures, your victories, your pains, your moments of terror and triumph, and distill the gnosis from them. A story about the one time you were fired and how you rebuilt yourself is 1,000 times more powerful than reciting a law of power from a book. Speak from your own library of scars. Your authenticity is your authority. Fourth commandment, you shall master the art of the seductive void. Tate's most powerful moments are his pauses. The prison story was potent, not because of what he said, but because of what he withheld. Your actionable gnosis. Embrace the power of the unfinished sentence, the unanswered question, the story that trails off into a knowing smirk. The next time you are telling an engaging story, stop just before the climax, look at her, hold her gaze for a beat longer than is comfortable, and then say, "But that is a story for another time." Then change the subject. You have just created a cognitive open loop, a seductive void in her mind. She will work to close that loop, and in doing so, she will be working to get closer to you. You have made her the pursuer. Fifth commandment, you shall weaponize humor as a tool of disruption. Tate's dark humor serves one primary purpose, to demonstrate that he is above the emotional fray. He laughs at what should be traumatic, signaling that his psychological architecture is superior. Your actionable gnosis. The next time you are faced with a minor crisis, a social awkwardness, or a moment of tension, find the one sliver of absurdity in it and laugh, not a nervous laugh, but a genuine, knowing chuckle. This single act disrupts the negative emotional field, reframes you as the calm center of the storm, and demonstrates a level of sovereign control that is deeply, primally attractive. You are not a clown. You are the man who can smile while the world trembles, because you know the storm is temporary, but your center is eternal. These are not tactics. These are the foundational laws of an embodied, sovereign reality. Do not try to do these things. Meditate on them. Feel them. Let them recalibrate your internal state, and you will find that the way you speak, the way you move, the way you simply are, begins to change. The charisma you seek is not a skill to be learned. It is a truth to be remembered. Tristan Tate's power does not come from what he says. It comes from the unwavering pre-verbal conviction that his frame of reality is the dominant one. He uses stories not to communicate, but to absorb and re-architect the world around him. He metabolizes negativity into fuel. He projects status into a vacuum. He uses humor as a weapon and suspense as a leash. This is not a style you can copy. It is an internal architecture you must build. It is the result of forging yourself in fire, of facing extreme experiences, and of choosing consciously to be the author of your own myth rather than a character in someone else's. This is the path from being a man who reacts to the world to becoming the man the world reacts to. This is the first step on the path to becoming a sovereign. To simply watch him is entertainment. To decode him is to acquire a weapon. But to embody this level of frame control, that requires a deeper initiation. It requires a journey into the architecture of your own mind to rebuild it from the ground up. It requires a descent into the initiation chamber where the true operational gnosis is kept. For now, re-watch this interview. But this time, do not listen to the stories. Watch the silent war for the frame and see who wins every single time.